Here's a story about how to represent yourself in court. I was in civil domestic court yesterday waiting for my case to get called, and I was watching a hearing. It was a restraining order type hearing between the leader of this community organization and a member of the community organization, and the leader had filed for protection from stalking. And what it sounded like is that the leader of the organization had named somebody else to a leadership role within that group. When the defendant learned that he was not named to the leadership role, he got really upset and he kind of blew up, and he didn't harm anybody, he didn't make any threats, but it bothered the leader guy enough that the leader guy filed this restraining order. People who represent themselves, they still have to follow the rules of evidence when it comes to testifying, calling witnesses, cross-examining witnesses. And the defendant in the case was just having a really hard time. So the petitioner, the leader of the group, gave his testimony, and then the judge went to the defendant and was like, "Sir, do you have any questions? You have to ask questions, so this is cross-examination." And the defendant just couldn't ask any questions. He said he was nervous and that he was trying to, but he was really just having a hard time. So I stood up and I said, "Hey judge, I'm willing to volunteer my services to help this guy out." And the judge granted my offer, and I went to the hallway and I talked to him, and then I wrote his entire cross-examination on legal pad paper like this. And what I was trying to impress on him is like, look, you have these statements that you want to make to the court. You want to tell your side of the story. You just need to turn them into questions. And when you phrase them in a certain way, it doesn't really matter what the answer is. You're able to testify through cross-examination just based on the questions that you want to ask. So he wants to say, "I was a member of this group for 5 years." You just put a question mark on the end. Witness, "I was a member of your community organization for 5 years." Yes. And if you wanted to say, "During those 5 years, no one had ever made a complaint against me. I was a dedicated member of this group." So just turn that into questions. Witness, "During those 5 years, no one had ever made any complaints about me as a member." No. "I was a dedicated member of the group." Yes. "I was loyal to the group." Yes. We were able to tell his whole story through making questions like that for this witness, and I gave him his sheets of paper, and I sent him on his way. I said, "Call me and let me know how it went." And about an hour later, I got a call, and he said, "Oh, Mr. Taylor, thank you so much. I won." I went through the questions step by step, and I stayed calm, and the judge threw the case out. And he ended up leaving me a review, which was very nice of him. And for anyone out there who's going to represent themselves in court, you are going to have to do cross-examination, and just take whatever you want to say and put a question mark at the end, and then ask the witness. Thanks for watching, and like and follow for more lawyer stories like this.